Hello and welcome to Square Raindrop. I'm Jo Wheeler.
And I'm Steff Golter.
And here we are back inside again, Steph, because we did actually Square Raindrop at the weekend, didn't we? And then it all became a bit of a disaster.
We were outside enjoying a little bit of sunshine and then, nothing happened really, did it?
No. Life suddenly became very busy, but that's hardly surprising because there was that big tech outage on Friday, which was affecting everybody everywhere. Probably you didn't notice because you were actually baking cakes for kids' parties.
Yes, I took some annual leave last week to make some beautiful cakes for my children. I mean, I'm no chef, I'm barely a baker, but I threw something together, the best of my abilities, and I was proud of them. And little Mia was so happy with her cake that had an owl on the top. And then we went to the venue and Felipe said, I'll just pop them on the table. Can you see where this is going? It ended up upside down on the floor.
No, how awful.
And I was alerted to the fact, not by the great big scrunch and then from Felipe, but from my little girl who saw it happen and came running, tears.
No.
So we gave her a snake instead, and then she was much happier.
A real snake?
Yes, actually, yes. We went to Crazy Creatures, which is in Minstead. You can go there or they can come to you. We went there and they give you things to hold, like hissing cockroaches. And so it's for kids' parties, but the idea is you don't have too many children because then things get a bit crazy and the animals don't like it. So they wait to see what the children are going to be like, and then they bring out the right kind of animal that will be able to respond to this better. So yes, so it starts with things like stick insects and all these cool little bugs, and then it goes to lizards, and then they had these massive snakes wrapped around their necks. Loving it.
Mm-hmm. There was a moment where I was quite upset at the lack of an invite, but right now I'm just so very, very glad. Snakes, spiders, that sort of thing, not my cup of tea. Thank you very much. I like small furry things.
But also, Jo, you're not 7. I'm not sure you'd have fitted in well, as in afterwards they decided to play chicken. This isn't the kind of chicken that you and I might have played where we ring doorbells and run away. Nothing like that. They actually pretend to be chickens. And then they catch each other and then they have to put them the other side of the gate until they lay an egg, and then they can come out with the other chickens again.
Okay. I still think Knock and Run was more fun.
Yeah, Knock Down Ginger in some parts of the world, wasn't it?
Lovely. Yeah, nostalgia. All those wonderful games we played. Well, of course, the school holidays have started. And certainly for this first week, there's you're saying, no, they haven't. For you, still not. What's going on?
We're just finishing. A lot of people, I think, put inset days at the beginning of this week. So they finished already, but our school is like, no, we will keep going until the very end. So yes, it's just about to break up. So while I'm going, phew, party's over, I can relax. No, actually I can't.
And then the school holidays start, and that's usually a cue for the weather to turn really, really rough. And indeed, it's not looking too good this week, is it?
Well, I'm just looking out my window now, not looking too good right now at the moment. It's cloudy, it's drizzly. Yesterday brightened up gradually. Today, it's struggling a bit more. And Thursday looks very wet.
It does indeed. But the surprising thing about this week is that temperatures don't actually fall that far away, do they? We're still looking at 23s, 24s, which, when you haven't got a great deal of sunshine, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, impressive or disappointing, because it's going to skew the figures a little bit, because the average is about 23. So when we get just above that, makes it sound like we had a lovely summer, when actually we know the truth because we were here getting rained on.
And just a few days of high temperatures makes all the difference.
That's right. So if you have like 21, 22 for the whole sort of month, for weeks and weeks, and it's cloudy and wet, you remember it as quite a miserable time. But then if you have a couple of days with the temperatures right up at 30, 31 degrees, completely skews the figures and makes it look like it was, above average for the month, when actually it might have been quite disappointing.
Indeed. And we're going to take a fairly cautious look at the weather ahead in a minute. That's a bit of a spoiler alert. But a couple of things which have been cropping up on social media. People very concerned about the fact they're not seeing any insects.
Insects or birds. Yes, I've seen lots of people pointing out they've seen not so much outside their window as they might expect.
well, it would have to be outside their window because they've not been outside. And of course, usually in the summer months, we would have been outside. We would have seen the butterflies around the buddleias and that kind of thing, the birds in the sky. In fact, I've probably seen more bats this year. Maybe that's just the time of day that I'm out and about, you know, kind of twilight.
Yes, is that something
Before I return to the crypt for the
vampire?
night.
So with the bugs, did you know butterflies need a certain temperature to fly?
I didn't know that.
So when
I
it's
didn't.
been quite chilly, the butterflies would have been struggling and they wouldn't have known to sort of hatch out because they wouldn't have been able to fly anywhere. So that's one reason why we've not seen as many butterflies. And I think just with the rubbish weather, it just hasn't, it feels like summer hasn't really got going. So maybe the bugs haven't properly come out yet.
So, of course, we would have seen the birds nesting a little earlier in the year, but there seems to be a lack of birds as well. Just hold on, I'm waving goodbye to my son. Bye-bye, Sam. Bye-bye, Sam.
Bye-bye, Sam. Bye-bye, Sam. My hand looks
He's
really
off,
big.
Sam.
It's pretty big.
Here we go.
So, yes.
Bye-bye, Sam.
Bye-bye, Sam. There's also been a lack of birds. That's because it's actually an annual thing. So they change their feathers. So they don't have the same feathers for their whole lives because that'd be pretty manky. Imagine wearing the same clothes forever. Yeah, I have been. So with the birds, they change their feathers. I think it's twice a year, but one time of year that they do that is in the summer. So actually, if you check out sort of in the hedgerows, you'll see a few really quite manky looking birds as their old feathers are falling out and they're getting their new feathers.
I would have just assumed that they'd been to visit your 7-year-old daughter.
No, she loves animals and creatures, but she might dissect them. You're correct.
Yes. Well, if anybody's looking for the flies, if you're concerned about lack of flies, I can tell you exactly where those are.
Around your
My kitchen.
Who? No.
My kitchen. My kitchen. I don't know what is going on. I've done everything. I've cleaned the floor. I've emptied the bins. I've put the dog outside. I mean, I did have a similar situation in my office just recently, and then I found out that I put some bananas in there to stave off starvation. It's when my daughter's working in the kitchen and I can't get into the fridge or switch the kettle on. So I put these bananas in my office and then I forgot about them. And they'd all turned black and there were plenty of flies around that. But at least there was a source.
But Jo, could you not smell them? Your bananas?
No. I couldn't. Anyway, so these flies, right? I have a very dinky thing, or I used to have. It's like a tennis racket, and you charge it up, and you can go around and zap the ball, and it's very satisfying if you like.
One of these?
Yes, just like that. But yours still works, and mine doesn't.
Yes, mine does still work. What I find though is this is really good fun, and you spend your time chasing flies around the kitchen. But if you're like me, I'm no, Roger Federer or whoever, Nadal, whoever might be there now. And it's more productive for losing energy than it is for actually killing the flies. So we have this sticky thing. It's a really ugly sticky thing and it just hangs there and the flies stick to it. We've also got one of those zapping machines that doesn't seem to attract them at all. And we've got a little flower that you attach to the window. It's super sticky. And so when the not bees, I would never do this to bees, flies come along, they go, and then that's the end of them.
It sounds to me like you've had almost as bad a problem as I've had. Of course, the ultimate answer.
Previous years I have. This year, no, they're all with you.
They certainly are. I'm tempted to go back to the old-fashioned method, which is, I think it's called flypaper, and it's something that you pin up on the ceiling and it kind of twirlies down, and it's sticky. But I can never look at one of those because years ago, I put one of those in my pantry, which was great until the night I went in without switching the light on and caught my hair in it, which at the time was really quite long. And that was a very difficult and painful process to actually remove that flypaper from my hair. So I've always been a bit dodgy about them since, which is why I had the tennis racket. But anyway, maybe I shall go back to some of those.
Jo, I think this might be why we're friends. Once upon a time, Felipe put some just over the bin in our kitchen, and I leant down to put something in the bin, stood up, and it stuck to my head.
Yeah, and you know something, for all the ridiculous warnings you get on products these days, there's not one that says, when you put this up, put it somewhere where you're not going to inadvertently stick your head close to it, because it's very, very hard to get out of hair.
May attach itself to your hair. That's what it needs to say.
It definitely should. Now then, we go with some trepidation towards the future forecast because, well, for a start, because it's good news, which is unlikely. And secondly, well, confidence is growing in, Steffi, growing in what?
Well, we said a few days ago that it looked like the end of July, beginning of August might have high pressure in charge. It might bring us a bit more in the way of sunshine.
And day on day, the signal is growing. All the models seem to be agreeing. Some of them are even pushing that envelope out a little bit further, saying it could be kind of almost a 2-3 week stretch.
2-3 weeks when the children are off on holidays? I don't believe a word of it, Jo.
Well, I reckon the next time we speak, we're both going to be sporting a Saint-Tropez tan. Yes, we'll be in the garden underneath the parasol, sipping, I don't know, a Bucks Fizz perhaps.
That would be nice, but I have a feeling I'll just be lobster red and hiding. Like the birds scampering around under the hedges with my skin peeling off and my new skin forming.
It sounds wonderful, Steffi. It really does. In the meantime, if anybody wants to contact us, there are so many ways. We've got @SquareRaindrop on Twitter, formerly X, and that's because
Square Raindrop didn't fit. We're also.
But it does fit everywhere else.
Yeah, well, no, we're also no, don't go that far, Jo. We're also Square Raindrop on Facebook and Threads and Instagram, and I believe on YouTube too. We're everywhere.
That's pretty impressive. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please feel free to like and share and subscribe, and that way we can share the love with everybody else. And of course, if you want a personalised forecast for a special event that's coming up for you, then contact us by any of those means. In the meantime, hopefully the next time we speak, that high pressure will be upon us and we will be enjoying the sunshine.
Yes, we'll bring some salt just in case. We need a little pinch of salt on that forecast.